The end of car ownership. Why you can't fix your own pickup anymore. Imagine walking out to your $80,000 pickup truck on a Monday morning, only to find a message on your dashboard that says, "Engine performance limited. Subscription expired." You bought the truck, you signed the title, and you pay the insurance. But in 2026, you don't actually own the machine sitting in your driveway. As a mechanic, I am seeing a terrifying shift in the industry where the right to repair isn't being killed by better engineering, but by digital handcuffs. We've entered the era of the software lock scam, where manufacturers use encrypted handshakes to ensure that if I, as an independent mechanic, try to save you money by fixing it, the truck simply refuses to start. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on the 4 digital traps that have ended car ownership as we know it. And I'll show you the 2 sovereign trucks you can still buy if you want to be the true master of your machine. Number 1, the component handshake scam. The first nail in the coffin of car ownership is what we in the trade call VIN coding, or the encrypted handshake. In a 2026 pickup, a part is no longer just a mechanical component, it is a networked computer node. 10 years ago, if your alternator failed, you went to the parts store, bolted on a new one, and drove away. In 2026, if I install a new alternator, even a genuine OEM part, the truck's central gateway module will scan the serial number of that new part. Since that serial number doesn't match the one assigned at the factory, the truck enters a permanent security lockout mode. This internal digital fence is designed for one thing: to kill the independent mechanic and the DIY owner. To complete a simple repair, you now need a proprietary cloud-based dealer login that costs thousands of dollars a month. Without that digital permission from the manufacturer's server, the truck will not recognize the new hardware. They tell you it's for cybersecurity, but the reality is simpler. It's a monopoly on repair. You own the chassis, but they own the handshake that makes it run. But digital locks are only half the story, because the next trap allows the manufacturer to literally take away your truck's horsepower while you're asleep. Number 2, over-the-air throttling, the Trojan horse. Everything changed with the mastery of over-the-air updates. Manufacturers marketed this as a convenience feature, promising that your truck would get better while you sleep. But in 2026, OTA updates have become a Trojan horse for performance throttling. We have seen instances where a specific engine model, say a high-output turbo diesel, starts showing premature wear on the fuel injectors across the fleet. Instead of issuing a billion-dollar mechanical recall, the manufacturer simply sends out an OTA update at 3 a.m. that reduces peak boost pressure by 15%. Suddenly, your truck feels heavier and less responsive, but you assume it's just aging or bad fuel. The reality is that the manufacturer physically altered your property from a remote server without your consent to protect their own warranty profit margins. They are essentially stealing the performance you paid for at the dealership to cover up their own engineering failures. In 2026, the vehicle you bought on day 1 is rarely the same vehicle you're driving on day 500, and you have zero power to roll back the software to the version you actually liked. And if you think losing horsepower is bad, wait until you see how they've turned your truck's physical hardware into a monthly bill. Number 3, features as a service, the paywall trap. This is the most aggressive part of the software lock scam, turning physical, paid-for hardware into a subscription service. We are now seeing trucks where the heated seats, the adaptive cruise control, and even the maximum towing capacity are locked behind a digital paywall. The hardware is physically there. You've paid for the heating elements in the leather, you're carrying the weight of the heavy-duty transmission cooler. But the software gatekeeper denies you access unless you pay a monthly fee. In 2026, the Towing Pro packages have moved to a features-as-a-service model. If you only tow your boat twice a year, the manufacturer wants you to pay $50 for a weekend towing license to unlock the full torque of your engine and the transmission's heavy-duty shifting logic. It is an artificial restriction of your property. If you stop paying your monthly connectivity fee, the manufacturer can remotely disable your remote start and even your backup camera under the guise of security maintenance. You are essentially renting your own truck's capabilities back from a corporation every single month. The game is rigged, But there's a way out, and it starts with identifying the exact moment the industry decided to lock you out of your own hood. Number 4. The OBD3 Cloud Diagnostics Lockout. For decades, the OBD2 port was the great equalizer. It allowed any owner with a $20 scanner to see why their check engine light was on. But for 2026, the industry is moving aggressively toward OBD3, a cloud-based diagnostic system. In these new trucks, the physical port under the dash is increasingly becoming read-only or completely encrypted. To see the actual why behind a fault code, you must connect the truck to the manufacturer's proprietary cloud server. This shift means that when your truck breaks down, you can't even tell what's wrong with it without paying a diagnostic fee to a licensed dealer. The data stream is no longer public. It's a proprietary asset owned by the manufacturer. If you try to use an unlicensed scanner, the truck's firewall detects the unauthorized intrusion and logs a permanent mark on your vehicle's history report, potentially voiding your powertrain warranty. They have successfully turned the check engine light into an in-service payment light. So, how do we fight back? How do we reclaim the right to own the things we pay for? The answer lies in the sovereign alternatives. Number 5. The sovereign solutions. Reclaiming your ownership. Reclaiming your ownership means stepping away from the connected nightmare and moving toward machines that follow the laws of physics, not the laws of a software license agreement. You need a truck that can be diagnosed with a wrench, not a login. If you want to actually own your vehicle in 2026, these are your only 2 real options. The modern reliable alternative, 2014 to 2018, Toyota Tundra 5.7-liter V8. This era of the Toyota Tundra represents the absolute sweet spot of the automotive industry. It is modern enough to be safe, comfortable, but it was built just before the industry moved toward encrypted component handshaking. The 5.7-liter engine is a masterpiece of mechanical durability. Most importantly, the Tundra from these years does not have over-the-air capabilities that can throttle your performance. You can find a solid, well-maintained model for anywhere between $18,000 and $26,000. While that might seem high for a used truck, remember, this vehicle doesn't have a subscription fee for its features, and it will likely be worth the same amount in 5 years. You're not just buying a truck, you're opting out of the digital trap. But if you want to go even further back, to a time when electronics simply didn't exist in the engine bay, there is one ultimate legend that stands alone. The unbreakable legend, 1994 to 1998, Dodge Ram 2500, 12-valve Cummins. If you want to be 100% immune to the software lock scam, you go back to the 12-valve Cummins. This truck is the nuclear option for ownership. The injection pump is entirely mechanical. Once the engine is started, you could literally pull the battery out and throw it into the woods, and the truck would keep running. There's no computer to throttle your torque, and no cloud connection to disable your remote start. You can find a hard-working, honest 12-valve for between $10,000 and $15,000. It is a heavy-duty statement against the digital enslavement of the modern driver. You're trading a touchscreen for a truck that answers only to you, and in 2026, that is the ultimate luxury.